Neato drop, for the neato drop, for the neato drop, for the neato. War with the neato drops. For the record, I'ma wreck it, even if my record don't pop.
Realism Productions.
Welcome back once again. This is When the Needle Drops. I am Shep. This is Smears. Smears is back. We've got a very special guest today. It's our first graffiti artist. And we're obviously part of the show. We want to interview a whole bunch of different people. We got Store from Toy Soldiers right behind me, right here. So obviously, as we normally do, we're going to play a few tracks. So definitely let everyone know on social media that this is going down right now. Get in the chat room, ask us some questions. I'm going to be coming back after a few songs, and we're going to start grilling this guy about all the bad things he's been doing over the years. So stick around. The idea of this show is we definitely want to have all different elements of hip-hop in the show, and tonight we welcome Store. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Welcome.
Dj Shep, my man.
Thanks, my man. I've been both wearing white t-shirts, which is awesome. Look, Store, graffiti artist, designer, youth worker, fashion guru, and I've also got here lover of pigeons. It's something we have to, you're a man of many, many talents. It's awesome to have you here tonight, and I've actually got a bunch of different questions I want to ask you, so we've definitely got to get into it. And I think being an artist, it's a bunch of different questions that I've never been able to ask before either. Everyone I've always interviewed has always been a musician. So I'm going to kick it off, and my first question is going to be, what is your earliest memory of being creative? I knew that was a hard one. I'm sorry to come off the bat with such a hard one.
I don't know. I mean, I can't barely remember this, but there's a story that my parents tell me that when I was real little growing up, I used to get these seizures, like these convulsions and stuff.
Wow.
No one really knew what was going on and what the deal was or whatever. Yeah. And when I was like 3, apparently I was sitting in the doctor's office. My parents were sitting in the doctor's office talking to them about what's going on. And then apparently the doctor looked over at me and he's just like, I'm sitting there with the chalks and drawing on the chalkboard, and he's like, have you been giving this kid art lessons? And they're like, no, he's just having a sketch. And
yeah.
Well, he's drawing at a 6-year-old level. So,
wow.
I don't know what happened in between there, but that's it's been happening since even before I can remember. Right?
Nice.
So.
Oh, we got to go talk into the mic.
I bet I'm not a rapper,
He's not a rapper, he's an artist. All right, my next question is, and actually I'm going to take one from the chat room at the moment. It comes from Jonesy. He asked, what made you choose Graff as your forte of art?
Oh, that's I think it was just that thing of just, it was out there on the street, it was accessible, it was exciting, there was everything about it that I just wanted to become a part of it. I guess, I was at that age, I didn't really sit down and analyze why and how and all that kind of stuff. I guess, the first time I seen a piece on the wall, I just had to, do that.
Yeah, for sure. Always, have there been elements of your style always in your work, or is it been something that sort of developed over time?
I think it's like a constant evolution, you know what I mean? I think that every step I move forward, I always seem to take something with it, and then if I move too far away, I guess, from where I've normally been, then I'll come back to that, but then I'll bring something from that extension.
Yeah.
I mean? So, I guess just, I don't know, what's the question again?
Well, your style, have you always had that style?
I guess so. Like, it has evolved. So, obviously when I was first coming up into Graff, it was a very different scene. We didn't have those caps, those cans, the colours, all that sort of stuff. So, well, for me anyway, the real onus was about how clean can you get your lines. How clean can you get your shades and your renders and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it's almost like, once I hit that point where I was totally happy with how clean I could get something, I decided it was time to just break that now, and just get really rough, get really raw, rough outlines, splashes of colour, and kind of just create art that has a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Just throwing it down, a lot more energy in the work.
Yeah,
you
yes,
know what I mean?
your art definitely has energy. Like you do obviously aerosol work. You do some awesome illustration. You do acrylic on canvas. I've seen you do sculpture. Have I missed anything here?
I'm actually working as a tattoo artist as well now.
And he does tattoo art as well. Out of all of those elements currently, which one comes more naturally to you?
Man, I don't know. It depends what day it is, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I really need that diversity. Like, if I get too stuck on one track, I just seem to get really bored.
Yeah.
Kind of stale. And so
Yeah.
for me, it's always about kind of creating challenges and creating things for me to go, set myself. All right, I always want to do that.
Yeah.
We'll see if I can do it, kind of thing. So it always tends to shift and change with that.
All right, I've got one more question before we play some more music, and then we're going to come back with a bunch more questions, and I mean a bunch more questions. I got 4 pages of questions for Store tonight. What does the perfect Store piece look like, and where should it be?
Ooh, the perfect Store piece.
Told you it was a big question.
It should look huge.
It should be really big. Yeah.
It should be really rough and raw.
Yeah.
And where should it be? I'm not phased, man.
Yeah. You're not phased? Anywhere anyone can see it, maybe?
Exactly,
yeah.
man. Exactly.
If you could have any spot in Adelaide, where would you put your big piece? If you could choose any spot, it could be Parliament House.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we could do like the Bankhead Store. I don't know. It's the Westpac Bank now, isn't it?
Westpac House.
Stories, right?
28 stories. Do the whole thing.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom. There you go, Westpac. If you want to make this happen, speak to us. We'll make this happen. Anyway, guys, we are going to play a few more tracks, and then we're going to come back with a bunch more questions. If you're watching this right now and you're enjoying it, please let everyone out there in the interweb know that this is going on so they can also join us in the chat room. We got Store here tonight. He's sticking around all night. He's also going to be playing 5 of his favourite tracks tonight as well. Being Store, they could be anything. It really could go anywhere. So stick around, guys. We're going to spin some beats. We're going to go back into the next part of questions with Store from Toy Soldiers, aka ruler of the world, aka graffiti artist, legend, God. This guy, he's here tonight. We're asking him a bunch of questions. My first question, actually, in the second part, goes right with a question from the chat room as well. So we're on the same wavelength there. What's your most favourite project's wall that you've ever been part of?
Pretty much any time I paint, it's my favourite wall. But I think, I've worked with some really great peeps. But I guess the one that's kind of blew my mind the most was doing the Rock Raider wall for when Rob Swift played. Doing the old Grassroot days down at the Electric Light Hotel.
That was a pretty cool one.
That was just a spin out, man. Obviously I got asked to, rock a little something for him.
Yeah.
And, we decided because it was the second anniversary of his passing that we'll do a dedication to Rock Raider.
Yeah.
Rob Swift was playing.
Yeah.
And so, I'm just in there having a paint. He's pretty happy with what I'm doing. Rob comes in, Rob Swift, drops his bags, just gives me a hug, and is like, dude, you don't understand what you've done for me right now,
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, cool. Dude digs my work,
Yeah.
So then he walks off, comes back, he's like, hey man, I got Rock Raider's wife on the phone. She wants to talk to you and tell her, talk about what you're doing right here, right now. So, I had a little chat with her and she really, made me feel good about what I was doing. That was all good, lovely afternoon. A couple weeks later, get an email from Rob Swift and he's like, hey man, I want to take that picture and I want to make it the album cover for the Rock Raider tribute album that he's releasing.
Wow.
So, we saw that get put out there. So, I think in terms of just, have someone of that caliber from the hip-hop world to show that kind of appreciation to me and what I did, well, that was really reaffirming as to what I do. But then to see that turn into an album cover and then get sent all around the world, that was probably my favourite.
Amazing. And everything you do obviously with a lot of love, and you do it with a lot of effort. You don't half-ass anything, really, do you? And I think that's something that if you walk around the streets of Adelaide, you'll see Store's work, and you see that in all of your work, which is awesome. My next question. Let's talk about, we talked about earlier that, and we announced that materialism will make a comeback. Tell us about the old materialism days, how that came about, You know, what do you remember of those days?
Well, it was like, we were young, kind of stupid, but we had big plans, big dreams. We worked hard. We did really well with it, I think.
Yeah,
But then I guess life goes on. People find other interests. People want to move on to other things, and that was cool.
Yeah.
But I guess I sort of found myself at the end of the day, the last one standing, holding the business down, which was okay. But I know I walked into the office one day and went, man, I'm an artist. I'm not a sit at the desk sort of thing. So I decided to kind of shut the doors on that for a while. Pretty much have forgotten about it. And then recently, I'm just sort of putting more, I'm going through some kind of teenage renaissance. Everything I want to
Teenage renaissance.
Everything I want to do as a teenage, I want to do now because, I've got the business skills, I've got the artistic skills, everything is at my fingertips. Things like the internet these days, aren't that, the internet was there when we're doing that, but it wasn't what it is these days, you know what I mean? So now it's easy for me to sit and do business at 3 o'clock in the morning, just sitting on my phone in bed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now with those opportunities happening, I was like, well, you know what? It's the perfect time to bring it back. So,
well, there you go. Look out for that, guys. Store's on fire. You're gonna expect some big things from him. Next question is your work. You do a lot of characters. The pigeons is one. The pug dog, Pug Life is a famous one that a lot of people know of. One of my favorites is the girls you paint. These tattooed, angel-like, gorgeous women that you like. My question for you is, are these girls real? Are they real girls?
I hope so.
so are you just creating these perfect women in your mind?
It's that thing, I think the whole point of the painting the girls like that is that sort of real juxtaposition of wanky art word. But, the putting together of two different ideas, one being a really street tough, savvy female individual who, makes her own money, gets out there, pays for her own tattoos and does that kind of stuff. But then I also kind of want to show this sort of slight vulnerability to it, That's why I have the extended necks, because the neck is actually a very vulnerable place, You think about your veins and your jugulars and all that kind of stuff, right? So by putting it down like that, that was the main intention, And originally I started doing them with the no eyes because I didn't really want to create a persona per such. I wanted to make that statement.
Yeah.
And then, as time's gone by and stuff, but, it's funny though because, I can draw a girl just thinking I'm making it up and then have a look at it and be like, yeah, I saw that girl on the bus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And these days,
I'm sure it's real. I'm sure it all gets absorbed somehow and then reconfigured.
If you see any of Store's girls walking around, let us know. Take a photo, send it in. Look, you're now part of Toy Soldiers crew. If you don't know of Toy Soldiers crew, all you have to do is walk around the streets of Adelaide and you've probably seen their work without even knowing of their work. That's the logo right there. Tell us who's in the crew, what the crew's all about.
Yeah, well, Toy Soldier's not your typical graffiti crew. We do graffiti, obviously, but, the way it started was kind of unusual. It was me, Benzo, and Fred Rock. And I used to have a little art studio up in Hindley Street, up in the Avalon Galleries.
Yep.
And we used to just hang out there and just, make art, hang out, talk shit, whatever. And then we started, from that, we obviously out painting walls, doing things, but we weren't really a crew as such. Obviously, we were a crew of friends, but we didn't really. I don't know. I kind of have never been in a crew in my life. I kind of didn't want to. I just, I'm the individual, right? But then one day, Fred Rock comes back and he's just like, "Yo, guys, I just done an interview, and they asked me what's the name of my crew, and I told them the name of our crew is Toy Soldiers. Now." We were just like, dude, you kind of A, made a crew with that. B, came up with a name. It reminds me of that story of, Run DMC when Russell Simmons runs up to him and is like, the name of your crew is Run DMC.
There you go.
And you're just like...
Hey, someone had to take the first step.
Exactly, right?
Good on him.
But it's cool, man. I really think, and then from that we kind of, I guess we all kind of came up with our own reasons as to what Toy Soldiers means.
Yeah, for sure.
And for me, Toy Soldiers, the word means I don't know, I've always found it interesting to sort of be in this, graffiti world where dudes are making, claims of the king of this or king of that or whatever, and now I've always had the belief that, if you, that thing of dudes build a castle, you know, a metaphorical castle of
Yeah.
their ego of who they are and that kind of thing. And then once they're the king of that castle, they got to spend their entire lives defending that castle.
Defending
right?
the castle. The
Now,
nature
what
of
kind of
hip-hop.
fun is that? You know what I mean?
Well,
So the whole idea of being a toy soldiers is like, yeah, we were toys, man. Of course, anyone that
Yeah.
starts off is a toy.
yeah.
And so we're just going to keep that mentality. We're going to keep out there, not really fighting as such. That's more metaphorical as well.
Yeah.
But that idea of that we were toy, we'll continue to be toy, and we'll just keep working.
Just doing your thing,
Exactly,
really. You
man.
know, that's
out in
good.
the trenches every day.
There you go. So there you go, guys. That's the meaning behind Toy Soldiers right there. When you guys hit a wall, they're big walls. They're big production walls. They're amazing. You know, do you guys plan before you hit one of those walls and before you start one of those walls? Do you guys plan? Oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, or is it something where you guys get there and each one of you just sort of starts doing your own thing and it just naturally evolves?
Yeah, for sure. Well, also just to clear up, since the origin of TS, we've now had Shep, tattoo artist, who's joined the
tattoo
crew
now.
also.
There's Shep the tattoo artist, and then there's me the
DJ
Shep.
Shep, yeah.
And I've had several phone calls before of people wanting tattoos from me, and trust me, I cannot draw. You do not want a tattoo from me. But yeah, just cleared that one up. Shep's a great guy if he's watching. What's up?
But yeah, so to take it back to that question is, I guess, you know, we've just had this, I don't know, we've got this kind of unspoken understanding of each other where half the time, like, I've literally walked up to walls not knowing what I'm going to make, start putting down a line and Mr. Scribble style, like.
Yeah.
And so I think with that kind of stuff, we might sort of come up, sometimes we work off a basic theme, sometimes we have no theme, and basically we'll just get together, someone will just start painting, someone will just start painting with that, and half the time we're not even talking about what we're painting. I'll just see what Fred's doing, I'll start to incorporate something with that, you know what I mean, and we'll build this, kind of like a jazz song, you know what I mean? There's no real set structure.
Yeah, cool.
But once you catch that vibe,
Yeah.
you join in and you put down
Definitely.
what you can, you know what I mean?
I like it. So guys, if you are walking around the streets of Adelaide, definitely keep your eyes open. These guys are everywhere. They got some great spots around Adelaide, and you know, a lot of your stuff just kind of, it stays there. It doesn't really get touched. People love it. It becomes part of the surroundings, which is the cool thing. You know, streets are known because of the art that you guys have put on the wall, which is such a rad thing. And then other people go get their wedding photos taken in front of them as well. How do you feel about that when you see, like, you know, someone's wedding photos in front of your piece?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
It's cool.
You know, I think, you know, if someone, you know, I guess it just is testament to, I guess, the effect of what putting paint on walls can do for people's lives, you know.
For sure.
That if they want to, you know, the biggest day of their life, if they want to incorporate a bit of the wall into it.
If you want a bit of store at your wedding, you can have it. Look, guys, we're going to play some more tracks. I've still got a bunch of questions. We're going to be coming back and we're going to be talking more graffiti-based questions. So definitely stick around. And also, I'm going to be playing some tracks off the new Realism release, which just came out today. We're going to have it available at the clinic as of this Saturday, and it's going to be a free pickup. So all you got to do is come in and ask for it, and we'll give it to you. So stick around, and we'll be back with more questions soon. Alright, we're going to get into the next part of our interview with Store. This one is going to be more based around the whole graffiti culture. So if you guys in the chat room have got any questions, please hit us up with them. And, you know, throw a few questions into the mix. My first question is, we're going to just nerd out a little bit here, but what is your favourite nozzle when painting?
New York Fat Cap.
New York Fat Cap all day long.
That's all you need, yeah.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
Why is that? For people that don't paint, that might be watching this, why the New York?
There's something about the valve in it, you know what I mean? Like, so if you need to get like a real thick line on it, you can just push down hard, hold it close, get a real nice thick line, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, pull it back, get a nice thick line. You want to get a skinnier line, you can just, you know, same nozzle, just different technique with it, and you can get a thin line.
Yeah.
Whereas every other nozzle always seems to be, oh, I got to change it for this, change it for that. Whereas that's kind of probably the best multi-facet where you can just put one cap on it and just use it for the whole piece. So
there's a few old school dudes that come through the shop who, you know, all they use is an NY.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. You know, and you know, props to them. That's right. Well, you only need one. You never run out of nozzles, really. Hey.
Exactly.
what is your favourite colour? And that can be from any range of any paint. What is your favourite colour?
I mean, I haven't used it yet, but I already know my favourite paint is the Sneaker Freaker Montana infrared collab. I saw that in the net the other day and got excited.
I saw you post that on your Instagram, and it was pretty cool. Infrared, wow, that's going to be pretty fucking dope.
So yeah, perfect colour for pigeon legs, mate.
Pigeon legs. All right, as we're talking favourites, if anyone's got a question from the chat room, feel free to jump in. Your favourite spot to paint?
I don't really have one, man. Like, every spot brings its new, you know, and basically if I find it's my favourite spot, I'll probably move on to the next one after that, you know what I mean? I don't know, I mean, I don't think there's really too much that I continuously go back and redo. I guess in terms of if we're talking about spots that have lasted, like probably Glenelg.
Yeah,
you know,
that
the Mermaid,
roll down
we
the
did
side.
the TS collab with Dems.
Which is now rolling on a tram.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that
cool.
photo has seemed to got a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only piece I've seen that I've done from a plane. Coming into
Yeah.
Adelaide, right?
Awesome. That's right. If you can see it from a plane, you've done a good job. If you could work with any artist, dead or alive, of any genre,
Ooh.
it could even be musical if you wanted it to be. It could be a burlesque dancer. No, that was just cheesy. If you could work with any artist, who would it be?
I would say Vaughn Bode for sure, man.
Tell us about Vaughn Bode.
Vaughn Bode is an old school cult comic book artist from back in the day, so the 60s, 70s we're talking about.
Yeah.
And around the 80s, it sort of got somehow adopted as, I guess, the graffiti character. You know what I mean? We've all seen the lizards. We've all seen the Cheech Wizard.
You taught
know
me
what
how
I'm
to
talking
paint that
about.
once at a workshop.
Yeah.
I was bored and Store taught me actually it's the only character I can draw. I know that one. That's good. I like that one.
So yeah, although so his son's taken over his legacy, Mark
Okay.
Bode, and he's still around, still doing his thing. So
Awesome.
maybe one day, you know.
That's great.
We'll see what happens.
Right. Now I know what you're actually talking about. I've had the pleasure of visiting your abode many times, and the one thing that sticks in my mind is just the big wall of paintings that you have that you constantly almost have on rotation. It's like you have your own art gallery inside your home. What is your most treasured piece of art in your sort of collection?
Different things for different reasons, but I guess just for the sake of pulling out an answer right now, I've got a sketch from Ed Templeton, you know, the Toy Machine skateboard rider /
cool.
artist.
Yep.
But I think the best part about that piece is that it was, he didn't like it, he screwed it up and threw it in the bin.
All right.
So it's this, I don't know, there's something, you know, if you're an artist, you understand the polished piece.
Yeah.
But to see the raw form, to see the things that get discarded, to me, that holds a lot more weight, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say, in terms of, because normally if it gets screwed up and put in the bin, that's the light, you know.
It. No one sees
exactly.
The light of
so
day.
it's sort of a resurrection of an
Probably
idea.
a bunch of
concept.
garbos out there with an amazing art collection.
Totally right.
You never know. Now, for as long as I've known you, you've been progressing as an artist, and that hasn't stopped in any way, shape, or form. And I think just the many styles that you do proves that, you know, how just constantly you are evolving and changing and trying new things. The latest thing that, well, I won't say the latest because you've been doing it for quite a while, but a lot of people might not know that you're very much doing tattooing now. You're very much a tattooist. Can you tell us how that came about?
Yeah, well, that was cool, man. It was crazy. Like, you know, I've always been into tattoos. I've always loved tattoo art.
Got the arm.
Been collecting a few over the years, and yeah, it's just something that I really wanted to get into, but I just didn't know how to, and I didn't know where I was gonna go because I didn't really want to get affiliated with any sort of, you know, that kind of biz. I really wanted to just be an artist and do my thing, right? So I don't know. I kept the dream alive. Obviously, I couldn't tattoo as such, so what I did is I painted girls with tattoos, and that was kind of my way of living the dream as close as I could get it without that hookup.
That makes a lot of sense now.
And so, you know, and then I was chilling, you know, because we had the 5000 gallery up on Weymouth Street, so my art studio up in there, and I'm just chilling right there, and then a girl moves in next door to that, and her name's Kiara. She was setting up a little private appointment only tattoo studio.
Yep.
And then she said, "Oh, I heard you do the graffiti. Do you want to come and do a wall for me?"
You do the graffiti.
I do the graffiti.
You do the hip hop art.
Yeah, I do the rap scribbles or whatever.
Yeah.
So So I said, yeah, cool, I'll come in and do a wall for you. I did that, and then halfway through the wall, she was like, look, I'm really impressed by your art. Have you ever wanted to become a tattoo artist?
Yeah.
And I said, yes, that's exactly what I want to
Yeah.
do. I did an apprenticeship with her for about 2 years. She
Yeah.
then moved on to other things in different parts of the world, and then she gave me the keys to the studio and said, it's yours. So,
Wow. Awesome.
basically,
And
yeah.
how did you find like evolving from obviously all the other art that you've done to tattooing? How similar is that to tattooing? Like, you know, when you're talking like, I know like shading and blending colors and stuff like that.
It's a funny thing of where, you know, I have to admit, before I picked up a tattoo machine, I thought I was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I thought, give me anything, man, I'll make a piece of art out of it. You've got this, you know. First time I picked up a tattoo machine, I was a toy again. You know what I mean? I had to go right back to the basics, reteach myself, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I guess sort of now that I'm comfortable, I mean, you know, we're talking years ago now, but now I'm at that stage where I'm comfortable and I know what I'm doing with the machines and that kind of, you know, that whole aspect to it, is that now everything that I'm doing, like you're saying, in color blends, ideas, concepts, that kind of stuff, it's a lot more easier, and my art is sort of really becoming a more, do you know what I mean? It's sort of, I've paid my dues, learnt the skills and the technical stuff, and now like, so now it's at that stage where my art is really starting to bloom through it, right?
Great question from the chat room, and we'll take this as the last question before we get hit to Store's top 5 tracks, which I'm hanging to hear. What really pushed you to become an artist? Like, what really pushed you to go, I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna do the 9 to 5, I'm gonna be an artist?
Well, it's that funny thing, man. I think I'm not an artist because I make art. I'm an artist because my brain works in a certain way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's almost like the art is a result of that, if you know what I mean. And it's that thing of where, I don't know, man, like, I couldn't imagine what the hell I'd be doing if I didn't make art. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't sit in an office. I couldn't, you know, I can't do those things. For me, like, life on Earth, you know, I think that's why I took human form and came to this Earth, is so I can create art, make art, do stuff. So I think it was programmed into you. Whatever it was
it's
that, you
very
know,
much your destiny.
Exactly.
Definitely.
I don't think I chose it. I think it was just there and it was my only option, right?
He didn't choose art. Art chose him. He did not choose the rap life. Quick question: are you able to live it, or do you have a shitty day
I've
job?
been living off my art for the last 10 years.
So there you go. There's the answer for you. All right, guys. We're going to hear the first of a Store's track. So, Store, your first track, what have you got for us?
I got some of that You Can't Get This stuff. I got the Delta Paperweight signed vinyl.
So we're going to play this one first?
We're playing this one first.
We're going to play this one first. I'll cue it up. Sorry. I actually had this, and I had it signed as well, but I don't know where it is.
I know, man. If you know South Australian hip-hop, you know Delta is at the top of that. And so, you know, you got to have some of that.
This one's a classic, guys. And I can't believe this piece of vinyl is so new and beautiful. Store just told me as well that that's only the second time that has been played. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would love to get their hands on this piece of vinyl. I'm going to put it right back in its sleeve straight away and put it somewhere safe.
That's the special occasion vinyl.
That's the special occasion vinyl. Okay, guys. Your next track, Store, tell us about this one. This one.
Next track is by Little Josh. He's a little dude that I teach up at, was teaching up at 1225 of the graffiti course. And basically, this is one of those kids that I'm telling you about that's just, you know, had a real hard life, man, had a real hard time, and, you know, he had every right to be a negative, nasty little person, but he is the nicest kid I've ever met, man, and he's just got the best attitude and the best, you know, he's all about channeling what he's going through in his life through his art. So he's a little graffiti writer, and he's a little rapper. He's been working with Delts and Motion.
Fantastic.
And this is one of the tracks that they've come up with.
And in case you guys don't know, Delta and Motion run workshops down at NSS, which is Northern Sound System out north. So they do a bunch of production and MC and record kids out there. So I'm very keen to hear this.
So let's check it out. He's 15 years old.
Give him props.
What would happen if life had changed? What would happen if life was meant to be this way? Thoughts like that go through my head every day, but it's okay because it don't bother me anyway. Sometimes I wish I could start off new. That way I could plan everything on my life through. I don't know, maybe I wanted to be just like you. I wanna know in life what I'm supposed to do. What if I was a different...
Alright, that was awesome, man. That kid's got skills.
Yeah, man, little Josh, he's just dope, right? So
He was dope. What did you
Keep
think?
your eye on that dude, man.
Definitely, keep an eye. Like I said, he's been working with Motion and Delta down at the NSS, so big ups to those guys as well. I think everyone so far we've had on the show has given props to Delta. So that shows you
Deservedly so, I think, man.
how much of an
Deservedly so.
influence he is. So we're going to definitely have to get him on this show. All right, next track. What do you got for us?
Next track, we got Abduction by the Wu-Tang on the Tony Touch mix.
Yep.
This has got to be... If you ever see me walking down the street with my headphones, the first track I ever put on as I'm walking out the door is this one. It's just like the perfect mix, man. It's like we got sounds that, I don't know, just the way these Wu-Tang guys paint a picture.
Yeah.
It's,
Awesome.
It's an audio picture.
It is. It's an audio tapestry. Here we go. Let's go.
Okay. The Jizza. Tony Touch classic. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna bang y'all in the head one time. Blaze up on y'all.
Go to the next one. What do you got for us next, Store?
Alright, so the next track is Numbers on the Board by Pusha T. Now, I have to admit, I'm pretty old these days, so I only really listen to old school 90s hip hop, you know. I don't understand this new Lamborghini talk that everyone's doing in hip hop, so... But, you
There's
know,
a Lamborghini involved now? Fuck.
But, you know, when Clips came out with Pharrell, that just kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then Pusha T started working with Kanye.
Yeah.
And I think there's just something about this beat, man. It sounds like Broken Bones. And, like, Pusha's lyrics just kind of twist their way around that whole beat, man. What you got to listen.
How you feeling? You feel all right?
I'm so bossy, bitch, get off me. It's a
All right. What do we got next, Store?
Alright, next we got Bring the Noise, Public Enemy Anthrax collab. Now, I gotta say, this is the one where, you know, up until now, I always felt a disconnect from hip-hop. Being a white little kid living in a small town, hip-hop seems so far removed to me. But then when my favourite band, Anthrax, did a collab, everything made sense.
Here we go.
Public enemy number one. 5 say freeze. And I got dumb. Can I tell them never had a gun? But it's the wax that the Terminator X1. Gotta get me in a cell.
Oh, yeah. I was feeling that, man. That was good. All right. What do we
old
got
business.
next?
Alright, so final track, we got Curtis Mayfield, Move On Up. This is some old school stuff, and I think it's been my favourite song since I first heard it. And I would listen to it all day, every day if I had to.
I pretty much do listen to it.
I think I do, even though I don't have to, right?
Hush not, child, and don't cry.
Now, I did have the photo on my computer, and I wish I had it to show here, but if you Google it, you'll find it. But recently, when the Royals came to Adelaide, Prince William and Kate, whatever she is, a princess or a duchess, I'm not sure how it works, aka the Fresh Prince, as we call him now, he visited the Northern Sound System. You had the pleasure. There's a great photo of you out on the interweb of him with holding the spray can, doing a bit of spray art, and there's you in the background chuckling away. What was that experience like?
Pretty surreal, man. Pretty surreal. Like, you know, I mean, granted, they were really nice people, and I don't know, I kind of didn't really see it as such the important la-di-da type event that it was, you know what I mean? Like, the way I kind of seen it was like some, you know, really high up people in this world kind of...
They seem like really mellow people, though.
Did
you
you
find
man.
that
They
they were
really
pretty
are. And I
like,
think
chill?
the whole point of them coming to NSS was they were really interested in the youth work that's happening there and all the positive stuff that's coming out of it. So I think to have those guys come down and say, like, hey, man, this is a really good thing.
Yeah.
That was good. It was weird, though, man, like to have the future King of England doing some fill-in for you. That was kind of crazy.
Maybe you could take him to a spot and he can look out for you next time.
He actually
you know?
loved it, man. He
loved
actually
it?
loved it, yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
he's digging it. He's
I don't
feeling
know if he set up like a special wall at the Buckingham Palace now and what, but...
Did he have skills? Did he? Was it?
He was all right. I mean,
you know,
he
you've
had-
seen a lot of people paint. Did he have any skills at all?
I mean, like I said, he did a little bit of film, man. Like he did the
He-
obligatory thing for the cameras, you know, the pose mark or whatever. But then he put his stuff down, and then kind of as they were about to move on, he grabbed the can again and just started doing a bit more and a bit more. And they're like, "Come on, we got to move on. Come on, we got to move on."
Yeah.
And then they were like, he actually said, he's like, you know, that's why I'm laughing in the photo. He's like, I'm addicted to this. And I was like, well, welcome to my world, homie, you know. But then he was even like, yo, let the you guys go and finish the tour. I'm going to stay here and paint on this wall.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, awesome.
Meanwhile, Kate was like, oh, you're going out of the lines. You're ruining the piece. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's definitely, that's the weirdest graffiti event I've been involved
Yeah,
with.
definitely.
That's for sure, man.
Well, that killed my next question. What was the... No, only just joking. Only just joking.
Drop for the Nito drop for the Nito drop for the Nito. War with the Nito drops. For the record, I'ma wreck it. Even if my record don't pop.
Realism Productions.